Welcome to the SavePoint Report, episode 12. I am SavePoint Eric. I'm joined by SavePoint Marvin,
Hello, thanks for having me.
SavePoint Fox,
Hello, thanks for having me more.
and SavePoint Eli.
Hello.
Today, we are talking about the awful, terrible, no good, very bad news that came out of Xbox today.
No, it's good.
If you have not heard,
A slight bump.
yeah, a bump in the road to perfection that Xbox is currently on. You know, this is from Bloomberg. Let's just get right into it. Microsoft's Xbox to cut 3,200 jobs, divest 5 studios in major overhaul.
So like
The
a little.
studios in question. So Xbox will sell the studios Ninja Theory, makers of Hellblade, and Undead Labs, State of Decay to undisclosed buyers. They'll both be continuing working on their current game projects, Senua and State of Decay, and then the two other studios, Double Fine and Compulsion Games, Psychonauts and South of Midnight, respectively, are being spun out under ownership of their original founders. And then the final one, Arcane Studios, makers of Dishonored, Deathloop, and currently working on Blade, are also being spun out, but they are based in France, so I think it's like there's like a longer consultation process that Xbox has begun with them to figure out the terms of that and what that is going to look like moving forward. So not quite finalized there. But yeah, and then many cuts throughout the other studios, throughout other Xbox studios. A lot at ZeniMax and Blizzard. I think Blizzard kind of didn't get the full brunt of it like ZeniMax did, but yeah, there's some more details we can jump into. But what's everyone's first reaction to this?
Bad. It's really bad.
I'm surprised it's how many people I see on Twitter trying to put a positive spin on it.
Yeah.
When it's like, wow, like literally like over 3,000 people's livelihoods have just been completely destroyed. And they're like, no, guys, no, it's good. The only good thing out of it is that some of the like companies they like release from their shackles are like being spun off into their own independent studios or just being sold off, which I guess like that's good, I guess.
Yeah.
Double Fine and Compulsion are both getting to exist still.
Yeah.
I'm sure they are not unaffected by this in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
But not just shuttering them entirely for such like Double Fine's a legendary studio. That would have been an enormous loss. And then Compulsion, they're a strong swinger, even though they've only got like 2 games out. But I mean, they've had very strong showings from both. Well, from one, and one that we definitely saw a lot.
Yeah. As in with Double Fine, I assume you mean? Oh no, Compulsion.
Because We Happy Few was mid, and then South of Midnight was very good.
Yeah.
But Double Fine is the one that I am referring to when I talk about an iconic legendary studio. My mic a little closer.
Oh yeah, that sounds a lot better. Wow.
But it's
oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
He ruined it. He ruined everything.
Sorry.
Xbox. We should downsize SavePoint. Lay off 2 people.
Bye, Eli and Mark.
Spin them off.
Guys, due to this tumultuous market we're in, the SavePoint crew.
There's not enough games to go around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, it's Arcane is on the chopping block. I don't think they're necessarily gone out of there, but I think they're sort of having to make their case.
Yeah,
so that Blade game is probably never coming out ever.
I don't know. I wouldn't be so sure yet. It does seem my read on the situation is that Arcane is going to be in a similar boat to Compulsion and Double Fine being spun out. I do think it is more of just like the process to get there is going to take longer because France has actual proper like regulatory agencies that do their jobs.
Yeah.
So there will at least be some contesting to this, but I think I hope Arcane will stick around. The fact that any of these studios are going through this is obviously heartbreaking and horrible. But especially with a company like Arcane, who like consistently puts out 10 out of 10 games. If they
Well,
can't survive here,
Not out of
then
10.
yep. Redfall.
well, but that was Arcane. That was the like Arcane West or something. They were already shut down like years ago. That was a
Oh,
different
really?
studio. Yeah.
Mhm.
So this is Arcane proper, who did Dishonored and Deathloop, and now their next game is Blade. So they really do like they just know how to put out heaters.
Interestingly, they're also doing some pretty major restructuring. If you've read the statement put out by the CEO, Asha Sharma, I forget her name,
Mhm.
but she put out a statement saying that they're going to be doing some pretty major restructuring on how things work on the corporate side of Xbox. It sounds like there was a lot of layers that people had to go through to do anything. Uh, so one of the things they said was, yeah, there's as many as 14 layers of management that things had to pass through for decisions to be made. And she said they wanted to get it down to ideally 3, at most 5.
Okay.
Which still 5 still seems like a lot to me, but I think I have more of an auteur mindset with these things. Apparently, also Mojang and King will be reporting directly to her now, which is interesting. Um, and also Bethesda is going to be making some pretty big shifts, where now they are going to be focusing more on their tentpole franchises. So they listed Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Doom, uh,
Quake and
Wolfenstein,
Wolfenstein. Yeah.
and Quake. Yeah. Um, so that's going to be different. Maybe she'll actually make them make Elder Scrolls 6. So that's interesting. Because I don't think
Do it
they've been working
faster.
on it at all.
Yeah.
Well,
She'll
I was
finally open the
reading
Word doc for it.
the Elder Scrolls Online. Half of the team for there got laid off.
Ooh.
And just I was just looking because Fallout 76, the goat, seeing what kind of layoffs they're going through, and so far I've seen like some of the quest design people have been laid off, and then like one of the microtransaction like quest design head, and then like
Mhm.
microtransaction head, and then like one other quest person I've seen. So I'm kind of
Interesting.
curious.
Yeah,
So
what the
obviously,
full
all
extent of
around,
that is.
pretty major bummers here. If I'm trying to find a silver lining, it seems like this may be a step towards getting Xbox back on track. Sort of scorched earth, build it back up from nothing approach. It is an enormous shame that all these people are being affected like this. That is not something that I think we can put a positive spin on in any way possible. But if I'm looking at it purely from a corpo Xbox consumer standpoint, this may be where they can start to turn things around a little bit from the downward spiral that they have been in.
Yeah.
And then hopefully we'll be able to avoid studio closures like this in the future.
Yeah.
I have a quick question here about the number 3,200 people. Does that include the studios that are being sold off, or is it strictly
I
stuff
don't
they're
think so.
keeping that they're cutting from?
I think
Yeah.
it's separate. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's
Interesting.
separate. From the way this reads. And to be clear, not that it super matters, but I believe 1,600 jobs were eliminated today, and then the other half is
Yes,
over the
yeah.
next few months.
Yeah, are
So
coming later.
not all 3,200 have been laid off quite yet, but it's going to happen. So,
Wow.
yeah, it's no secret that Xbox has been on like a string of bad decisions and press and just bad everything really for the past 8 years or so.
Yeah.
As many companies have, but Xbox is definitely at kind of the forefront of that. There's been a lot of reporting, a lot of kind of delving into this. I think for me, it does come down to during the Game Pass era, Phil Spencer and them, their goal was, we want to branch out, we want to collect all these studios, even if we don't think they're going to be these massive profit makers for us, like a Double Fine, like a Compulsion. We want them to still build out the Game Pass library with like unique experiences, so that when someone comes for a Halo or a Call of Duty, they stay for these smaller, more interesting experiences that make the subscription feel more worth it. They know that those aren't going to be massive profit drivers, or they thought so at the time. And I think we're at the point now where Game Pass is kind of a failed experiment in terms of actually making money for Xbox. It didn't really work. And
Mhm.
with Phil Spencer out and this new leadership taking in, I think Fox is right that from a corporate perspective, you do kind of need to take this scorched earth approach. And so, yeah, I think unfortunately that's just kind of where we're at. I think this has been a long time coming, sadly. As have many of the stories, or the other story we're going to talk about today, all the stories that have come out in the past few weeks. The industry as a whole is just taking a complete nosedive, and we are going to keep hearing about these things, as we have been hearing for years now, for the foreseeable future. And I don't think it's going to get better anytime soon. So my only hope is that these things that they're doing now can at least help protect the jobs of the people that are still at Microsoft, to have some sort of future preservation and planning, because if they continue how they have, then this is what's going to happen to every single Microsoft studio. They are either going to be shut down or spun off completely. So I don't know, but that's my read on it.
It is sort of, I think this is sort of a time period that will be looked back on in a similar way to almost the Atari crash back in the 80s, where I think it's such a massive turning point for what the industry is going to look like going forward. Because obviously, the way that things have been going is not going to work anymore. Uh, Video games are sort of, they are, I think, like the youngest medium that we have to us as in a creative space by a wide margin. So there's still a lot that is like having to be figured out. We are in such an infancy with it that we haven't figured out how to like monetize it in a way that makes sense compared to how much work goes into making these. I think it's very possible that the era of like the big AAA releases driving the industry may be kind of sunsetting at the moment. Obviously, huge releases like GTA 6 are a thing, but that's kind of the last like gargantuan, everyone is holding their breath waiting for this thing
I mean,
release that I can
yeah,
think of in that
yeah.
market. Like definitely COD's not as strong of a presence as it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
The like yearly releases of games, it's still kind of working for 2K and stuff, but those aren't really in the normal core audience.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are a lot of people who just play 2K, who just play Madden,
Mhm.
and don't really care about anything else going on in the industry. So those are definitely sort of like going to stick around as much as that will, because sports fans will buy pretty much everything in that like sort of window.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we may be entering a more auteur-driven space, like more independent studios. So more, I think honestly, the labels of like indie game, AAA, double A may become irrelevant in the future. It may sort of just be what scale of game we're talking about when we're discussing things, as opposed to what development teams for things in that nature. Like when people are talking about indie studios, people are talking about this. It's like instead of being, oh, it's about an indie studio, it's like this was made by a studio of like 5 people.
Yeah, I think team sizes are
Things
going to
like
be
that.
a much more important, and I think they honestly just should be at this point. Like that
Yeah.
is a better marker. Maybe not for something like the Game Awards, but when you're just discussing the like breadth of a game, I think team size is a kind of the best metric for that. Team size and time, I guess.
It's so weird on like a technical standpoint when we're discussing terms like that, because if you look at the Game Awards a couple years ago, we would be putting Larian on the same level as like Pixel, who developed Cave Story.
Yeah.
So technically they're both indie. If you want to talk about it that way, one's way more indie than the other. If you can go on metrics like that,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
it's going to be a weird spot, and I think part of that is driven by the PlayStation news that we've seen. If which we can move to if we don't have any more final thoughts on Xbox.
Well, just like to touch on what you said also a little bit is that
Mhm.
like the people always be complaining about game prices, but like I think we're also just kind of at the point where it's like they're just gonna have to start getting more expensive to like afford. Because it's like they've just been $60. They've been $60 since before we were all like even a thought of an idea.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's and people were like, oh, what? We have to spend 10 more dollars. It's like, bro, $60 back then compared to especially like now and in the past just few years, $60 is not equivalent to what $60 was even like 3 years ago. Like
Yeah,
it's
not at
just
all.
so much less money.
That's why I think
That is
Nintendo's strategy with it is so interesting. People are really quick to jump on them for being the first to like do an $80 game in Mario Kart. Which, I mean, they only did for the physical. I think the digital was still 70, but
Well, the physical and digital were the
was
same, but you could get a bundle with the Switch 2.
yeah,
Then
the
it was like
Switch 2
50,
bundle was
but
50.
yeah.
But like they also then put out Star Fox for 50, and they put out Tomodachi Life for I think 40. Was it? Or
No,
was it
Tomodachi Life,
50
I
as
think
well?
it was 50, I think.
Yeah, but they're
Maybe
ranging like
60, but-
games in their scale $50 to $70 typically. We haven't seen another $80 game since Mario Kart. So I think that could become a thing where it's like more of a variable thing. I'm wondering how much it's even worth making a game at the scale where it has to be released for $60 these days. That's a really high price point for people to want to get, even though it is fair what they're asking for, but how much are people willing to spend that much money on something?
Yeah, we've reached a point, or not reached, but we've been slowly getting to a point where you're totally right. Like the prices for games, should be climbing. Just with inflation and all these things, they should be higher than they are. Especially with the budgets that it's taking to make them. But then at the same time, it's like if you're a company and you're like, wow, entertainment spending is going down drastically in all these areas because people don't have any money. So now we're going to jack up the prices and expect them to buy games more. So it's it is a tough line to toe, I think. And not that that's necessarily the fault of these individual corporations. It's just kind of where we're at. But yeah, I don't know. How do you kind of reconcile that? I'm not sure.
I mean, I think
games.
Yeah.
I think Nintendo's strategy, like Fox was saying, having that sliding scale of price that could be matched with a smaller game scale, where it's like as a developer, you go, okay, we know we want to sell 3 games at $60 to $70. They're going to be the bigger games we develop and spend time on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's a better way to kind of hit that range of what people want to buy. I also think what I was thinking when you were talking about that is that nowadays there's just a lot more games to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's harder for people to decide what to spend their money on.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, it's a question of do I get Prince of Persia: Two Crowns, which is a stellar game, for $40, and I think it's worth that price, or do I get Silksong for 20?
yeah.
That's a decision a lot of people made. Like for someone like me, I'm just gonna play both. But when it comes to somebody who is more of a casual, I just like playing what looks cool in the moment, that is the kind of decisions that they're making. They're not just gonna play everything that comes out. And I think the sliding scale approach is the best way to go about it currently, because when you think about it, a remake of Star Fox 64 that doesn't really add that much beyond making it prettier, you're going to charge the same price for that as Donkey Kong Bonanza. That's what they were doing in the Switch 1 era, so it makes a lot more sense to be like, well, this is a $70 release, this is a $50 release.
Yeah. I agree, and I think Xbox can also learn from that. But Xbox, the whole Game Pass thing, just throws such a wrench into how they how they make those calculations, because we don't really know. All we know is that it really hasn't ever been profitable. She was saying in her statement, I think that I believe it's sorry, I can pull up the exact numbers, but I think for every dollar they've spent, they've only made back 65 cents or something. Xbox was losing 64 cents for every dollar it invested in the business. Yeah.
So they were making 26.
Yeah, for every dollar, which is just absolutely crazy.
Well, and I think Game Pass also just kind of devalued gaming almost, because there's so many games that came out and just I'm just not gonna get that because it's on Game Pass when I would have bought it, but it's I could just get Game Pass and not have to ever pay for these games ever again.
I don't get to playing the games that I was looking forward to on Game Pass after they come out. If I had bought them, I'd go play them, but it's it's on Game Pass. I'll get to it at some point.
And that is tough for the for Microsoft, but on the flip side, it's sure, maybe it's devaluing those individual games, but it's also a big reason that a lot of those game developers, those indie game developers, can work on, say, their next game or something, is because of that initial check from Microsoft for being put on Game Pass in the first place. There's been a lot of cases of people coming out and being like, yeah, we can kind of, we made this game, Xbox saw promise in it, we get this initial upfront amount for it being put on Game Pass, and now we can kind of rest easy knowing that at least our next year or two of funding is secured because it is on Game Pass. So in cases like that, I think it's great, but then that kind of loops back around into you don't have any profits, so you have to spin off 5 studios. So it's just it is an experiment that I think in the end had a good amount of merit and had value for the consumer as well, but I don't think it panned out nearly as well as they were hoping it would, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I would add like there's maybe a way they can spin it off, balance the numbers where they do make a better profit just with maybe less developers that they're paying, or I don't know, a balance with a price for people paying for Game Pass isn't too much. Because I do agree, I think the system is good for gamers and studios who are getting that initial check.
Yeah.
And also, I will add like recognition for a second game they might be developing. Because people who
Yeah.
have played it for free on Game Pass or at least seen it or whatever.
But
But
the thing is, like, with I don't know. I just if I lost my train of thought. Where we continue? Sorry.
well, yeah, I was just coming to the same kind of fact. If at this point they've already lost this amount of money and they're kind of trying to reset anyways, I don't see why they would continue to pursue that model at all. I would, if I were them and I was cutting 5 studios, I would start looking at Game Pass as
Because
like
it's like the alternative is, okay, well, let's try to make let's try to make Game Pass more profitable. We need to up prices for the initial entry, and we need to reduce our first party team sizes, which is what they're doing now. They're kind of shedding that extra weight, and so there's going to be less games on Game Pass, and it's going to cost more. That's like the only, because when a few months ago, when there was like I think like back-to-back Game Pass price increases, everybody was freaking out, and it was like an extra like $5 a month or something, which I get it. It's quite the increase, but in the grand scheme of things, it's like it's still a good value if you're really taking full advantage of it. But most people aren't. Most people, like myself, I think, get Game Pass every month or two. Maybe I'll play a game that's on there. I'll dabble in another one, but I am not like taking full advantage of it.
I'm literally, as we are speaking, pausing my Game Pass subscription because I'm only playing Destiny right now.
Yeah, like I fell into that kind of loop where it's like I would only get it if I was like, okay, for these like few months, I see these upcoming releases. I do think I'm gonna be able to take advantage of it. I think the only way they really count on consistent profit is people forgetting to cancel their subscription, and just letting it ride. So I don't know. I think to Fox's earlier point about the these like where AAA gaming can go from here, I do think it is going to be in that more like independent realm, but it has to kind of be I look to like a CD Projekt Red or a Larian, right, where they are these very large companies, but in creating consistently incredible games and fostering talent over a long period of time and maintaining these teams that have built experience with each other and chemistry with each other, and have trust that they're not going to be laid off every other day. This is kind of the Nintendo strategy. I think that really is the future of AAA games. It's okay, we have this maybe medium-sized studio that just got spun out, let's say like an Arcane. I think if Arcane does end up getting bought by one of its founders, which they're in talks they're in talks to happen, and then let's say Blade is a massive hit, if they are smart, if kind of everything can work out in their favor, they can potentially be like, well, Blade sold really well, we're gonna invest that right back into the company strategically, and hopefully not get too big for our britches, plan accordingly, and kind of grow the company from there. But not only does that take a solid initial investment and a solid team to begin with, it takes solid management, which a company like Xbox does not have, and many of these game companies do not have, clearly, because this is just, it's gotten to a point like it's ridiculous. So you really do need like a great management structure and great managers to pull something like this off for these, especially for these larger companies. Asha Sharma saying that decisions need to go through 14 different layers to get approved. It's like, how in the world do you expect a business to run smoothly when that's that's how you're running it? It doesn't make sense. I think that's the only way forward, really. But we'll see, I guess.
I think that's fair.
I don't know.
Moving on though, so we got to keep it moving.
Yeah.
PlayStation is definitely not the ideal way forward in my mind, because they are in about a year and a half, early 2028, going to be discontinuing all physical releases for their Sony first-party games. They are cutting out digital, or they are cutting out physical, going all digital with their releases. And people aren't happy about it, to say the least. I'm definitely not happy about it. I think it is a very bad thing for both the preservation of gaming in general. Like I said, this medium is so in its infancy that the amount of stuff that will be lost by this move is probably going to be looked back upon as like, what the fuck were they doing? And I think it's sort of showing that they are really wanting to pivot to an all digital space, which I do not like, especially when you see things that they're doing, like they are trying to do surge pricing for games, like tailoring the price of a game based on who is looking at it. And they are also, right off the backs of them removing 500 purchased movies from like the accounts of people, like people Sony's accounts. Like if you bought a digital movie, it's gone now. You
Yeah, it
can't
was.
watch it. They're
I believe it
taking away
was.
your ownership.
It was rights issues with like Studio Canal movies that like their licensing ran up, and they're like, yeah, even if you own this movie through like the PlayStation on your PlayStation account, it's going to be removed. You're not getting a refund, nothing of the sort.
No.
So yep,
Oh
it's just gone.
no!
Yeah.
And so that's a precedent for games.
I mean,
It very well could. I mean, that's happened. Like you can't play
Yeah.
The Crew anymore. You can't play Anthem anymore. I don't know what you really
True.
want to,
yeah,
but
and
you should be able to.
that's a slightly different scenario where it's like those like servers just got shut down, so it's like
Yeah.
that's kind of a different thing, but also an
I'm more
important part
concerned,
of
like,
preservation.
If
For
I
sure.
bought GTA 6 online and then 10 years later the
The
licensing ran
only
out.
way
Well,
you
have
can
to.
buy it.
That's the only way you can.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Even
that's
if you
what
buy
I'm saying.
physical, it's
Like,
code in box.
Yeah. So it's like that. I mean, here's for me. This was inevitable. If anything was inevitable, this 100% was. The writing's been on the wall. Physical sales for games, that kind of portion of the pie, especially for like non-Nintendo stuff, has just been shrinking and shrinking and shrinking and shrinking over time. This was bound to happen eventually.
The thing about that is not because of consumer habits necessarily, because when you look at it, like, yes, less people are buying physical games, but how much of that comes down to it's because you have to install the fucking thing anyway? Like Sony and Microsoft have been putting a thumb on this scale for a while, and part of that is like disk load speeds, whatever the fuck. But I think a lot of the time people like the option to buy physically. People will buy a couple games physically, even if they are mostly digital purchasers. If you're buying a gift for someone, you don't want to just give them a code in a like envelope. You want to give them the actual game when you're gifting someone to someone, and things like that. And so they have been pushing the industry in this direction rather than people preferring this for a while. And you're seeing a lot of physical resurgence lately because people are buying DVDs more. People have been buying vinyls. People are buying CDs more. People are buying VHS tapes. Like that scene has been getting more and more expensive as somebody who's in it and is getting annoyed by that. Because people are liking to own the things that they have and seeing all of these stories about like all these movies are getting deleted. People are going back and changing things retroactively after the fact from movies and stuff. People are wanting to own them in a way that it cannot be taken from them. And really, I think this is just going to cause a massive surge in piracy, if anything.
Yeah. And go ahead, Mark.
Well, yeah, first of all, I think this is the worst choice to be the first step in this age of non-physical stuff. Like Fox is saying, people are coming back to the physical versions. But to add to what you were saying with them pushing this and it happening based off of their movements, like to add to the fact like all of the PlayStations have come with a second version that has no disc that's $100 cheaper.
Well,
and I feel like
just the PS5 did.
The 5.
Oh, just the PS5?
Yeah. PS4,
Okay,
all of those had a disc drive, and all the ones before it did.
They did the
Either way.
PSP Go, where they took away the ability to use physical media, and people hated it so much they took it off the market in like a year.
There you go. But that's just like another way to see like they were wanting this for a while. They've been pushing for less physical stuff, and people like I'm not gonna if I was to buy a PS5, I would not buy the disc version. because it's $100 more, and that's a lot of money. Like,
Yeah, exactly. No, like I'm someone, I obviously bought many physical games when I was younger, but it's just like as I grew up, it just got more convenient to get games digitally, and then that was kind of it for me. I never, well, the main thing was my disk drive on my PS4 broke, for reasons unknown, but
maybe it was planned obsolescence. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, so I couldn't
We
use it
got
anymore,
the
and then
hooks in you.
that kind of killed it for me, unfortunately. But yeah, not that I wanted to see this in any way, but it is like with what you guys are saying, I do agree that Sony and Microsoft, all these people, they have been pushing it in this direction. They want complete control over what you're buying and where you're buying it, right? They get a bigger cut when you buy a game on digital. They don't have to produce discs. It is for first party games. It is cheaper for them.
On sale.
Yeah, exactly. And they can now choose, how much you pay and how much I pay for the same thing. But the thing is, it's like, to me, it really does come down to these are companies that are going to do that at the end of the day. Like, they are going to push in that direction because we don't have any form of regulation to say otherwise. Why in the world would they be like, you know what, guys? We agree. We do want you to be happy. We're going to continue to do it. Like, they're just not going to do that. Like, oh, Eli's camera's out. But
I'm here.
Yeah.
I mean,
yes.
Say what you will about Nintendo, but they are still making a push to keep a level of fun in video games and the process of buying them that other companies just have actually been trying to cut away from. Consumers. Like, people complain about game key cards. There's a ton of misinformation about game key cards.
Yeah,
but
people just don't know how those work.
Like, I can still just hand my game key card to a friend and they can play it. It's not tied to my account in any way. And like, I've done a lot of digital buying. I'm on PC, and it's people always say, why don't you buy it on PC? It's because Steam is more consumer friendly and DRM can be dealt with. There's ways to get around things that would stop me from getting to the thing that I bought with money. But like, Nintendo's games, all their first party games are still on cartridge. And really, cartridge is better for this because it's faster than disc media. It's funny because we are kind of in a space where we may have gone from cartridges to discs back to cartridges because they just got better in the end. And who knows, maybe the next Xbox and the next PlayStation will be cartridge based. I doubt it.
I would love that.
But I think they're also partially doing this because game devs these days can't be fucked to optimize their file sizes.
Yeah, because
like,
you're going to put out Call of Duty on 8 discs in the box. Like, they're just not going to do that. Like
the original Titanfall was only as large as it was out of the download because they downloaded every language patch uncompressed. Like, all of the audio was uncompressed. There was like a game recently. I forget what game it was, but they got a publisher involved, and then they were able to bring on some more experienced coders and stuff, and they cut the file size in half. Like, there is room to make these games a reasonable size. They just can't be fucked to.
There needs to be
they don't fit it onto a disc anymore.
It goes, hey man, you're selling this game for $7 and it's 300 gigabytes. What kind of game is it? Oh, it's just a fishing game.
Yeah.
Like, slap that person with a fine and reduce it to 10 gigabytes.
Yeah.
They put one of the Final Fantasy VII remakes across 2 discs again. Still, because it won't fit on one because they just can't compress it. You absolutely can't. Nintendo's putting out Breath of the Wild. It's like 12 gigabytes or some shit. So you can make this smaller.
I also just like to add to the Nintendo point, and even with the last story, it's like I feel like you see so much outrage towards them for things, and then but it's like they're not laying off over 3,000 workers. They're not completely eliminating physical releases. In fact, they're releasing ways for it to still be viable, and it's like, I don't know, games being
complaining about the game key cards
worse.
And even the people who understood game key cards and were still complaining about it, where I'm like, why are you complaining? This is what Sony and Microsoft have been doing for 10 years now.
No, exactly. Yeah.
And
So
like
many
some people will go, oh
disc-based
well, those
games
games are
already
still
were like that.
fully. People will say it's still fully on the disc. That's not fucking
It's like,
true.
no, that's just not true.
You can't.
007 First Light,
Yeah.
you only get the first mission. Like cool mission, it's the only one you get to play.
The first in First Light.
Mm.
Yeah, and I agree. It's like, you know, we could spend an hour talking about Nintendo discourse online, but I mean I 100% agree. Like at the end of the day, when you are criticizing them as a company, for me, what is most important is, are they putting out good games and are they treating their workers well?
Yeah.
And
No, exactly.
Nintendo marks both of those boxes. If I have to pay $10 more, or if maybe their games don't go on sale as often, but those people get to keep their jobs and their livelihoods, like that's a good trade-off. I'll take it.
And their games aren't full of microtransactions.
Yeah, exactly.
Like $20 skins. Like there's so many things that it's like people just absolutely hate that they don't do. But every other company does, and it's like, okay.
And then when they do something that like every other company has been doing, they get pissy at them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hate this like push that they've been doing because it's just indicative. Like I agree that it was inevitable. They want this because it is the dream to be able to make every cent possible from it. They are able to control the pricing on a more strict detail. Sony hasn't even been selling or allowing redeemable codes from things like GameStop.
Yeah.
Because like Xbox, you can go get a code for this game. Nintendo, you can go get a code for this game, scratch it off. Sony, you can only buy digital currency. You are not able to buy the game from like another retailer, even as a code.
These people want to be dictators of their own country so bad.
Yeah, and it's like I understand why, from a corporate perspective, you'd want to do this, and I understand it is not reasonable to expect corporations to have any kind of soul or care for the people that are supporting them. Which is why it's so odd that people go to bat so hard for companies like Sony and Microsoft, like the Xbox and PlayStation fanboys.
Yeah.
That like are freaking out. It's like they would not care if you lived or died.
Yeah.
As long as you buy another damn Xbox. Like,
yeah, exactly.
They do not have any loyalty to you, the consumer. Like, say what you about Nintendo again. There is a degree where they will be like, no, we don't want to do this because it goes against our ethics.
Yeah, and I think with Nintendo, it is that. It is also, the Japan, is I think a bit more close. Like they do have a bit more regulation.
That's where Sony is.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's a good point. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I forgot what the other thing I was going to say, but
it's just I hate it. I really hate the all digital push that we are going to. I like having options as a consumer. That is my thing. It's I would not push to get rid of digital in any way, shape, or form, but I think to push for the elimination of physical media, because you get all these people that are like, "Oh, why do you even care, bro? It's so outdated." It's like it's a better way to do it.
Yeah. No, and to go against my earlier point, this is what I was gonna say. I do think that in Nintendo making those pro-consumer moves, even if they aren't even if they do make decisions that, even if it doesn't lead to immediate profit, I do think it builds trust in the brand. And then in the long term, you are, fostering, more of a community and fan base that has more trust in the company, because you're not seeing these stories for Nintendo. So I think Nintendo fans are, okay with being more loyal to that brand, because it's like, well, I'm at least I'm not supporting a studio that literally does not care about their employees. So I do 100% think that is part of it. I just think that we've gone so far in the other direction over here with a company like Microsoft, and with Sony, that they are pot committed to maximizing profits in any way, and they have taken the human and consumer element almost entirely out of it. They are looking at numbers.
I think
Nintendo also is one of if not the most profitable Japanese companies, without having to do all this ridiculous stuff as well.
Yeah.
It's crazy how much evil people just want to be evil for no reason. Because you go, listen, there's a better way to do this for literally everybody here.
Yeah.
And they go, no.
But part of the better way to do it is that Nintendo knows how to consistently create incredible games. So it's like,
true.
Fostering that talent is part of what I'm saying, but it is they do have a lot of talent, which a lot of these other studios can struggle to find at times. Not to say that those people that work on those games aren't talented, but Nintendo does also have that advantage of, like, for the past 30 years or whatever, they have made it a priority in keeping these teams together that know how to work on these things and that can pass down knowledge from seniors to incoming developers, But it's like when you're laying off half of a team, it's like, well, all our senior devs are gone. The only person that knew how this system worked on this game is no longer with us. So we're gonna have to, hire three people to do what he could have done. I mean, to them, he might as well have been.
You see the senior devs just leaving or being laid off and going just making their own studios and then just making good stuff that they don't even need.
That's all from Expedition 33, yeah.
Exactly,
That's my dream scenario and like the best case scenario from what the previous Xbox news had is these layoffs and these split offs of the developers and these companies hopefully lead to just a mass of smaller indie but just lower level teams or just individual teams sprouting up, like, culminating just from all these layoffs and coming up with some straight up heat.
And I'm very confident that will happen too. Like, I think even if we do go through a complete collapse of the video game industry, at the end of the day, there are still millions and millions of people who want to play good games and thousands and thousands and thousands of people who want to make great games. And I think they will find a way as those tools get easier to use, hopefully not involving AI.
With AI!
Yeah, but I do, it is, it is, the main question is, will AAA gaming live to see that future? And unless many of them learn how to go the way of the CD Projekt Red and the Sandfall, which maybe that's more AA, I don't know. I don't see it happening.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a non sequitur, but relating in that it's the way that the industry is moving. I was a little while back sort of predicting that we may move away from the console, like the main 2-3 console thing, and go into more of a space where, especially when things like SteamOS become more available, more like boutique consoles start coming out. Because if you look in the retro game handheld space, companies like Retroid, Ioneo, all that good stuff, they are putting out, like, they are getting better and better at a crazy fast rate and for very affordable prices. You just look at the Iron Thor, that was one of the most popular devices that kind of broke even that like niche space. More people knew about it. That like DS emulator that came out, you'll be able to put SteamOS on something like that, and then that'll be fucking stellar. So we may move away from those spaces, and then all of the RAM crises started happening, and those parts got more and more expensive. And I'm like, well, let's see what happens there. It may take a little longer, but anyways, little other piece of news, since we're talking about Nintendo so much, that's not on the dock. I just saw this and remembered it was a thing. Starting in February of 2027, so right after Sony kills their discs, Nintendo is killing the Switch 1 line of consoles in the EU. So they will no longer be selling the Switch OLED, the Switch 1, or the Switch Lite. This is very likely because the EU has a regulation going into place February 18th, 2027, where they are going to be requiring consumer electronics to have easily replaceable batteries that you can swap out with tools that are commercially available. So again, the EU just putting in these massive pro-consumer movements, but it's kind of a thing where Nintendo's like, is it going to be worth?
Like, it's like there's making a new Switch.
Not these days. Not right now.
Almost 2 to 3. Well, even like it's like 2 to 3 years into the Switch 2. It's like, why would they completely design a new Switch 1? To start selling, like it just doesn't make sense because they're going to release a new version of the Switch 2 that's already been like said.
And it wouldn't be battery. Like, if they were going to retrofit any of them, it would be the Switch 2. So that's sort of a thing that's like, it's not surprising that this is happening. I know Apple are probably like punching the wall and crying, pissing themselves.
But it's a great example of how one piece of legislation. One piece of pro-consumer legislation directly leads to better outcomes for the consumer. Funny how that works, right? Like, it turns out when the government actually does something to combat and to push back against these companies, it can actually result in better products. But who would have thought that? Not us. Definitely not us here in the States.
Nope. We
that
need
don't
to
let
have
their
cars that
fans-
explode and drive people through fireworks.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
Hello.
the
ridiculous.
assuming that the next Xbox comes out, there's no way that has a disc drive, right? Like that's
No.
not.
No
there's no way
shot.
the Xbox is going to
After-
still be doing physical.
yeah.
There
ports.
is
No.
a lot of. I mean, the next PlayStation 100% is not.
Yeah.
There has been a lot of theorizing that
Mhm.
Sony is possibly doing that because they're looking at making a handheld, sort of in the Switch market, and it's easier to do that with all digital. But we'll see.
Yeah, and I think it's also like, who produces the discs that Xbox uses? It's Sony, because they're they make those Blu-ray discs and all that. So it's like it is kind of up to Sony in that regard. I don't think the PS6 will have a disc. I mean, obviously it won't. There was another story that came out though, to keep adding things on the pile. A few days ago, there was reports that Xbox internally is working on, they're prototyping a system where you can insert a disc, and then you will basically be your account will be granted a license for that game. So you insert Black Ops 2 or whatever, and then it's like on your account now digitally, without having to have that game inserted, you can now play Black Ops 2. I think kind of similar to the way a game keycard works, but maybe you have to have that in the system still.
Game keycards are only for digital releases, but it is similar, kind of.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
And
you
so get a keycard for a physical game.
Yeah,
but yeah.
It's basically physical DRM.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think that is an interesting way of at least future-proofing, people's collections in terms of backwards compatibility into the future. Because if
Assuming they still let you run them.
Sure, yeah, exactly.
I think what I read was that it would like kind of grant you the license, and then like you could like remove it, like if you wanted to sell that disc.
Yeah.
You could like get rid of you on your account. So it'd be more just like a convenience thing. So it's like, oh, I own this game, but I don't need to go dig it out to go put it into my console to like
That
to
would be
act as a
sick.
key.
And you can also still, like
yeah.
you're saying, you could share it with other people. You can sell it, and then it's just when that is loaded onto their device, it just kind of yoinks the license from you and gives it to them at that point.
Yeah.
So at least
I like
Yeah, it is. As long as they're not opening the shredders, you can go to Walmart and stick your disc into the the disc destroyer, and then it prints out a code for you. Like I think that's a good a good system.
I just like having shit I can look at on my shelf, man.
Yeah, but
I got
cool.
plenty. I got plenty.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Like,
I mean, hey, I'm not gonna get a PS5. I highly doubt I'll get a PS6.
yeah.
But I mean, I don't have any expectation that the Switch 2 will stop producing.
Wondering how
that's the silver
VR
lining.
Cards. Yeah.
We are hitting a sort of plateau point with consoles like the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 6, where I'm wondering like how much of a leap can we make to justify buying a new one? The games are outpacing what they can do. GTA 6 is going to be frame locked. At like 30 FPS on the PlayStation 5 Pro, which is $1,000 fucking dollars. Like, are you gonna need like a NASA supercomputer to run shit? Like, what are we doing? They just announced a new handheld gaming thing, like a handheld PC that has like a $3,500 tier.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
And like those things are none of that is going to get better anytime remotely soon. So like it's just
not at all.
people are going to be priced out of gaming. Like it's already happened.
Yeah.
It's going to continue happening.
Well, and the AAA space, you should keep playing those new indies.
Yeah.
I think that like Eric was saying, well, and also just with Steam being a thing, like having a great library that people already have access to, you're gonna get priced out of the cutting edge of gaming. I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But you'll always still be able to play games.
For sure. But
Because
there
the
are
Steam
those.
machine-
I think there is a sect of casual gamer who, like, they do mainly play newer releases, even if it's sparingly. They play a few games a year, but it's like they're gonna see, oh, I have a PS5 right now. A year or two into the PS6 coming out, they very well might be like, oh, I can't even, like, PS6 is $1,500, it's clear to me that this is no longer for me and I'm just going to drop it. And then maybe they will still play a few games here and there on their PS5, but it's like, oh, I want to play the new Call of Duty. I want to play this and that. I can't on my current generation console. I'm just kind of out of it, And I think that is a bigger portion than you may think of people that do play games.
Yeah. That's fair.
I think the mobile space could be getting really interesting because there's been a lot of interesting developments there.
Interesting is a strong word. But...
Well, not necessarily from mobile gaming. I mean, you can run Resident Evil 8 on an iPhone.
Yeah, but it's like who in their right mind would want to play Resident Evil 8 on their iPhone?
If you hook up a controller, brother, you got a stew going.
I guess, yeah.
But also, there's things like, I forget what it's called, but there is a wrapper that they are making that lets you run Steam games on your iPhone or your Android phone. It's not an iPhone. So that's an interesting space. A lot of those retro handhelds that I was mentioning run on Android. And in fact, use old phone parts for the most part. So I think sort of the smaller tier stuff, I think, is going to be getting really interesting soon. Where, if somebody's like, it's not going to be a big like, oh, I planned this purchase out months in advance. I made sure to sleep out in front of the GameStop to get the thing. But it could become a space of like, I was in Walmart and I saw this little gaming handheld for $100-$200.
But when is that going to happen? Like, those gaming handhelds are still like $600 right now. And like
no. The cheapest end is like $80.
Really? Okay.
I think I have this one here. This one I think was like $50. Like a friend gave me this.
So that's like very much like you can play like indie games kind of thing, and not
typically they're mostly emulators that are on them for a lot of the. So there's things like Retroid, the Pocket 5 they just did is around $200. That could probably pretty comfortably handle a lot of indie games. A lot of them have been running Linux, and a lot of them are probably going to start running SteamOS soon, now that making that more public. So a lot of them can handle some pretty decent stuff. Like in the $100-$200 tier, we're getting to a point where you can emulate GameCube pretty comfortably, which means you can also emulate Wii pretty soon. The Ein Thor, I think, can run like 2 instances of 360 emulation at the same time. That is more in like the $400 tier, but that is a higher end one. The Ein Thor is a really, really powerful handheld for what you're getting. It's a really cool system. But if you look at things like the Miu Mini, that can run PS1 games very comfortably. And
I mean, a lot of them PS1
are in a questionable.
It better run a PS1 game pretty
Yeah, but a lot of those. A lot of those are in a questionable legal area because they come with a lot of ROMs pre-installed. Gotcha. I mean, they all ship from China, so they don't care over there. But it would have to reach a point where, like, we are making stuff for these little low-end PC handhelds because the emulator market is not really going to be a thing people can do. People are so tech illiterate these days; they are so scared of emulators. I have seen so much discourse where people are like, "Have you not played this game? It's a PS2 game." It's a PS1 game, and they're like, well, sorry, bro, not everyone knows, like a tech wizard that knows how to drag a game into a folder and then click open on the emulator.
Yeah. Well, I mean, those things will get easier, but yeah, I mean...
They're incredibly easy now. People just are scared of it. People barely know how to make folders on the computers these days.
They have to have Grok do it. Do we want to real quick touch on what we've been
Persona 2
playing?
A lot of Destiny 2. As I said earlier when I was talking about canceling my Game Pass subscription, 3 of the 4 of us are playing a lot of Destiny 2.
Indeed.
And the 4th will soon.
Yep, it's imminent.
It's coming soon.
I think we talked about this last podcast, right?
A little bit of playing,
generally about like what we've been doing, but yeah, we've played some more dungeons. Still taking Fox through it.
The game is in such a good state right now that I was able to bring a friend in who got burned by the Great Vaulting, and had sworn off the game. He's at a point now where he's like, okay, this game is really fun.
Nice.
And has been playing it with me. So that's been cool.
But yeah,
I didn't have a ton to say about it, but I just want to touch on it. It's been a lot of fun, though.
Yeah.
Well, before we touch on it, just for everybody listening, if you do join our Discord, we have tier list, evolving tier lists of both all the raids and dungeons of Destiny 2 that are out now.
We're going to pull you in for a raid if we need a 6th.
That could definitely happen. We're sometimes looking for 6th playing raids. But yeah, feel free to join in and see that.
Yeah,
I
But
played with
also,
the SavePoint.
okay.
what were you gonna say?
Meet your heroes.
Oh, I was, yeah, so you can come meet us.
And
But I'm
then
not allowed.
Eli and Fox, I think you played a little something recently
Oh,
that
a
dropped
little
not
small
too long
indie
ago.
Oh,
release.
right. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Little known
little
indie darling gem, hidden gem, Deltarune
chapter
chapter
5
5.
of Deltarune. Yeah.
I forgot about that one.
Great
Very
chapter. I
good.
fucking loved it.
So good. Yeah, I loved
Uh,
it.
it's probably my favorite so far.
I don't know if I'd say it's my favorite, but I did thoroughly enjoy it.
I think it just had so much sauce.
Yes, that I do
Like,
agree. I
everything
think it's
about
at
it was
least
so
gameplay
cool.
wise is the best one for sure, easily.
Oh, by a mile. Like, it made me want a full
Yeah.
platform. Toby Fox's team here.
Yeah, that'd be so fun.
It's basically the chapter has slight spoilers for Deltarune chapter 5. There is a gimmick where you can switch between the normal RPG top-down walking around to a side-scrolling platformer that plays entirely
Very cool.
differently. It's very fun.
Yeah.
The way it gets incorporated into the last boss fight of the chapter is one of the coolest moments in the entire game for me. Banging songs front to back, nonstop, as is typical of Toby Fox. Unbelievably terrible discourse that made me want to blow my brains across the floor, as is typical of every Deltarune chapter release. The stupidest people alive saying the stupidest shit you can imagine, as they love to
can't
do.
understand, like, I can, like, obviously, like, not to the extent that people are saying, but, like, I do think that chapter 4 had, like, a lot of setup of, like, this is when it's going to start getting crazy, and then chapter 5 is kind of like, we're going to get crazy after this, and then also,
Yeah.
it is very funny how there is multiple sections where one of the characters is like, that day, what happened on that day was
They are
so
vague posting,
crazy. Yeah, which it's like it happens so many times, and it's so vague the way he does it that it feels like the game is making fun of you for wanting to know what he's talking about.
I think some of that feeling comes from the fact, though, that it is being released in chapters when the game is meant to be played in one big long shot. But it just continues to blow me away how good Deltarune is. Like, Undertale is basically a masterpiece. I think Undertale is a 10 out of 10 video game, and this mogs, honestly. He would have to unbelievably fumble the landing for me to think that
which I don't
Deltarune is
think
not
will
the better
happen.
game. From a gameplay standpoint, it clears a billion
easily.
times over. It's so much more fun. I had a friend play through Undertale who hadn't been spoiled for it after chapters 3 and 4 came out, and I was just like, man, this does not have as much sauce as Deltarune does when it comes to
it's
the
very
gameplay
similar
of it.
in a feeling to like when you're going from like Half-Life 1 to Half-Life 2 or like Mario to Mario 3, where it's like the first game was like good, but then you just go to that next entry and it's like, oh my bro, like they went to the kitchen unbelievably crazy.
And I have seen some like more traditional RPG fans have their complaints about it. I disagree.
Don't care.
Because it's not a traditional RPG. It's very inspired by like Arcane and stuff. It is not trying to focus on its battle system in the same way as like Final Fantasy or something like that. And I think what it is doing is just stellar across the board. It is so fucking funny in this chapter, especially. I saw people saying that it wasn't as funny. They're wrong. It's hilarious. But it's just I can't wait for chapter 6, and then 7's the final. So
yeah.
6, 7.
I mean, honestly, I don't know if me and Fox we could maybe do an extended talk at some point. Maybe
you guys should
just
like
do
a
that
spoiler,
separately.
like a full
Yeah.
spoiler
Yeah,
talk.
that could be
that would
fun.
be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that when we were talking earlier.
That'd be fun. But before that, we got some news for the Fantasy Critic. That we
Well, I did want to just touch on slightly real quick. Me and Eric started playing a little Marvel Rivals again, touching on some of those new characters, but having a lot of fun.
touching on Captain America's new skin.
Yeah, that new beautiful Captain America skin.
You know, I had to hop back
that.
in for my goat Cyclops.
Yeah, amen.
Batman's mentor.
And I really like. He has a really fun. He has a fun kit.
Yeah,
I'm still kind of getting used to him. Yeah, it's not like super unique. I think his movement is very unique, which is fun. That's kind of been like the main like kind of skill expression that he has. I think.
He doesn't play how I would have thought he would have played. I kind of was expecting more of like a Symmetra from Overwatch or something, like more of a you have a constant shot, like beam shot, but he has that, but it's like his secondary.
Yeah, and
But
it's
his
not like
neutral is his neutral is almost like, I don't want to say a sniper, but it's just like almost like hit scan.
Yeah, it
like,
is just like a hit scan kind of. It
like,
reminds me of like a
high
Mantis.
precision.
Like it's a
Mm-hmm.
there are many characters from Marvel Rivals that it's pretty similar to. I think they went with
What Paladin's character would you say is
I
closest
have
to?
no idea. I think they kept it safe, and I don't think that was necessarily a bad thing. I think they maybe could have screwed it up if they tried to make him too complex, but I could have seen them, if they went like more of like a support route or something, I could have seen that maybe being a bit more interesting. But I'm happy. He's fun to play.
Yeah.
So, and he looks sick. So I'm pretty sure his ult is very cool. Doesn't seem like super strong, but like the more I use it, the more I'm starting to see kind of like where you're supposed to use it. It kind of does like an initial blast that destroys all barriers, and then he does just like one like big beam like up that just like does massive damage after like
it's just very narrow.
Yeah,
you have to like be in a position where everyone's kind of like coming at you head on. It's not very AoE. It's kind of like
you can
directly ahead of me is boom.
It is fun to try and get like a nice flank where they're all like lined up. That's where I found it to be most useful. Fun, and I think he's voiced by the same guy who voices Cyclops in X-Men '97, which is great because he does a very good job voicing him.
That's good.
Yeah, but yeah.
Quick, I wanted to touch quick also, just real quick. These are very quick. I finished what I thought to be the last chapter in Yoshi in the epic book. But then it was like I was like, wow, this is shorter than I thought, but I heard it has a pretty hefty post game. So I like beat it, and then it was like, oh, here's just like double the amount of worlds and a bunch of new mechanics.
The Mario
that
Odyssey
have not mentioned. Yeah, and I was like, okay, very cool. That's very cool. So I'm still working through that. And then also in an amazing news, me and one of the top listeners of the show, Ben, have achieved a very hard, very sought after achievement in Hearthstone Battlegrounds, in which you complete in which you complete a full on get the whole win and never lose a game. It's very difficult.
No, it's not never lose. It's specifically to win everyone.
That's what I said.
Complete
Yeah,
RNG, basically.
Oh.
You said never lose. Yeah. You have to win. You cannot draw.
And we got that one. And we got it in duos as well. So we got all of the achievements in one big, beautiful blaze of glory.
I got my mustard solo. I didn't need another man carrying me.
Oh, but do you have the spicy mustard?
Do you have the love of God?
That's strange.
Okay. I don't think so, pal.
Well, congratulations.
That's all I had to say.
Yeah,
and thank you.
Do you have Christ's love in your heart? I don't think so.
Whoa.
Fuck it. I do want to real quick say, just for a show, just to keep forcing Eric on, really quick. Widow's Bay, fucking incredible show.
Yeah, I finished it.
If you haven't watched it, watch it. It's so good. We also watched Cartoon Network's hit film Level Up that I wanted to give some props to. It's like $1 on Amazon. Go rent it, or I guess you can buy it. If you lose $1.
Get your buddies, sit around.
If you're a gamer, you'll love it.
Yeah.
If you're not a gamer, you'll also love it.
And the last thing I wanted to say was they just announced upcoming the new season of Kamen Rider, which I'm a huge fan of. Kamen Rider. It's spelled like myth, MY-TH, but it is pronounced Kamen Rider Mice for some reason. I've posted the poster. No, it is mice. They confirmed on the Twitter account that it is mice. And he is a mouse. He is a mouse rider. It seems like it's going to have a Zodiac theme. He's a mouse and he battles two cats. So it seems like it's going to be Toku, Tom, and Jerry. So I'm very excited for it.
I heard that there was some Kamen Rider related. He's elated, I imagine.
Yeah.
Look out for more Kamen Rider related content in the future. in this space.
Pretty
Perhaps
soon,
I've
sometime
just
this
a little
week.
birdie told me something might be coming this
Yep.
week.
Next
Wow.
next year or two, it'll be out on the SavePoint YouTube channel.
Look, I did it in a way that has made me not enjoy doing it. But part of it was really quick and breezy, and then the other part that I was going to do is want to blow my brains out. But it'll be coming.
With the sorry, real quick, with the pronunciation of myth and mice, this is something I wanted to bring up when I was talking about 007. There's a part in that game where James Bond takes on like this alternate identity for a man named Saint John Smith, but the way that they pronounce it is
Smythe.
It's St. John Smythe. And I'm like, what in what unit? I was hoping maybe our British correspondent Marvin could enlighten me as to why they would say it like that. But they keep saying St. John Smythe instead of St. John Smith.
That's got to be some cheeky British humor.
I mean, they were not playing it as like a joke.
Understand.
They weren't playing it as a joke. They were just saying that dead serious.
The British don't. They're sneaky like that. They don't play it like jokes.
Yeah.
And you know, they're sneaky like that, and they're sneaky in a way that there are plenty of things that I still don't know about how they say stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But if I haven't heard one of my cousins or grandparents say saint before as sin,
yeah,
that would be kind of crazy. So
St.
I
John
honestly, I've never heard that one. That's crazy.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
just a weird little anecdote.
I did post that Conrad poster in Voice General. Looks really sick. I like the way the suits look. The ones for the cats remind me a lot of the 01 suit direction, which I really enjoy. Or being moved.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to seeing the season. But let's just move on to this here.
Stop! Stop! You're squishing me.
Yeah. So recently, if you have not checked it out already, SavePoint did our first fully in-person event. It was our mid-year Fantasy Critic 2026 auction, where we got together and bid to fill out the rest of our Fantasy Critic teams for the year. If you don't know, Fantasy Critic is a platform where you create a fantasy team of games that you think will review well, and depending on how well they score and if they come out, you gain points. So
like
we can
fantasy football, kind of.
Yep. We can do a quick little, just like an update. We can see here the full lists of what everybody got. If you are
we're not going to go through everything. Go watch the video. It's very good.
Yeah.
Eric did a really good job editing it.
Thank you.
He has a lot more patience for editing than me. So.
But
there are
did want to, there are a few things of note that have taken place after that video. So take it away, Marvin.
Oh, sure. So most recently, the most recent game to come out after that video is Rhythm Heaven Groove, which is my pick, and it got an 83, I believe, which I'm very happy with.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think the lowest in the Rhythm Heaven series.
Is it really?
Really, I thought one of them had an 81.
You might be.
Oh, you're right.
I
saw
like
that.
I remember the last one was an 87, and so I'm definitely happy with an 83. But I am a little.
It's terrible.
I'm a little disappointed. I was kind of like banking on that one to give me an edge going forward.
You have a bigger
interesting
disappointment,
theory.
though.
I have a bigger flop on Toast. So as a couple of our bids did not go through because during the time we placed the bid and the time the bid is counted, their release date changed. One of them being on Toast, my bid, is pushed to 2027.
I believe the thing you said you wanted the most out of anything.
Yep, I think I was banking on that one the most. So that's a little sad to see, especially in combination with not the worst score, but not save my life score. Yeah. And then Eli.
Second game.
Oh wait, sorry.
This is scrolling past it. I'm like, I need a second video game to come out.
Yeah, Eli also his pick Danganronpa 2x2.
Yeah, that also got delayed to 2027, which I was never expect. That was like a.
How could he have known?
Was that
never would have guessed.
A visual novel remaster had to be delayed.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, hey, game development's hard. I just don't know what possibly could have required that.
Rest
Actually,
in
it's like
peace,
there's like
pour one
6
out.
months left. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a
GTA
shame,
6,
but
they were scared of it.
Yeah.
The big overlapping audience of the Danganronpa series and GTA 6.
Well, there's talks of Rockstar trying to unionize before GTA 6 comes out, so here's hoping for that delay.
Oh, listen, I still trust in the cards. It's gonna get delayed.
I
Watch.
don't know. I
One
don't want to say
more!
there's no
One
way, because
more!
there's a way. There's definitely a way.
It gets
But
delayed, and then Fable, they're like,
Bring it
Fable
back.
actually is coming out this year now.
that
So we
would
can
be
move some stuff out of September.
Onimusha
But-
got moved up in September. Not that it really matters for Fantasy Critic, but I thought that was interesting. I believe it
Well,
originally shared a date with Control. I think those were either on the same day or within like 2 or 3 days of each other. And they had to move out the way for the big dog, Control
fair.
resident. So
Well, it's good to hear it move forward for you at least. That you know it's confirming that it's coming out in 2026.
did I get that? Yeah, I did get that. You're right. It is good for me.
They're just like, damn, bro, we're going so much faster than we thought.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Did Deltarune Chapter 5 not get an open critic rating? It's been
not yet.
Oh,
couple,
dang.
like a week.
Not happening.
Might not be
bruh.
getting one then. That's been
Still
a
waiting.
while.
That's a bummer,
If I
pal.
miss out on that, I think I'm already cooking, to be honest. Unless
Hey, I mean, you got big number 1 over here, so.
I think you have a chance
Okay.
if all of the rest of your games come out.
yeah,
We'll
don't
see
think
about
that's gonna happen.
Kana and Enter the Gungeon. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to
Rest-
happen for you, but
The rest
I-
of
I
Eli's
made
games
some
are going to
mistakes
get
there.
like 5.
I mean, I don't know. I think if all those games come out, I think Campaign Evolve, we'll see. But I think they will do well. It's just if those two end up coming out.
Yeah.
See.
Well, we'll see. We definitely wanted to mention this because those 2 games won't be on our lists when we show them going forwards because the bids didn't get processed.
Yeah.
But we will be
They're
counting them
I
as-
know that if you're the like host, which I think Marvin, you are like the owner of it or whatever.
I am.
There's because so you can override some things. It might let you put it on there, but I'm not sure. I don't know.
Well, I
Just
know there's a
could be
tag
possible.
that we don't allow is already released, and that might be why the bids got canceled. Is because they moved from non-released to they were released, and then the bids got fucked up. I don't know if I can retroactively bid on a game that's been released, but I can look into it.
Sure.
Also,
That would be
another
strange, but
maybe another thing
possibly.
that Marvin could do is maybe changing the name of the league to the SavePoint Crew. That way, if people
Oh,
are
yeah.
so inclined, they can follow the league on the Fantasy Critic website.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Because I was looking at it. Let's see if it shows here. For the popular public leagues, these aren't crazy numbers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Those
Like
aren't
these
that
aren't
long,
crazy numbers. If we really, if we continue to do
We
our
could be
thing with
on there,
Fantasy
yeah.
Critic, we could be on this list. I think.
okay.
True. True.
One day. One day.
SavePoint Army, rise up.
Yep. This is the call
We
to
are
action.
SavePoint.
I mean, if we made some sort of like crazy viral marketing social media campaign to push the SavePoint Crew Fantasy Critic, we could get up there for sure.
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, that's gonna do it for
10,000 bot accounts.
the SavePoint Report, episode 12. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and please check out the Fantasy Critic auction video that we did. I think
Eric
it came
worked
out
very, very hard.
I worked very hard, but we all really came together, and I think we put on a
True.
good show for that one. So
Mhm.
yeah, great way.
And we
to just-
did come together in the video.
exactly.
So,
Yeah.
Yep.
Fun little treat for you there.
Yep. And I'm gonna stop it there. But thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.